everybody, I'm Ilysa, and today I have a fun Easter project to show you. I created this piece using different cutters and Pan Pastels and something called Punchinella, which I think we've talked about on the show before. One of the things that happened when I baked this is clearly I didn't get all of the air pockets out. And I just wanted to show you that. See next to this bunny's ear, there's like a big bubble there. That is an air pocket. So I left it because I want to show you that if it happens to you, there is a way to correct it. So don't feel like your project is done and over with, because you can correct it. So I'll show you that. But these are some of the tools that I'm going to be using. Of course, my roller, which I always use. Here's the cookie cutters. There's a bunny set and a bird set, and they come in different sizes. You can use whatever size you like. There's only 2 in these sets. And so you have a smaller one and a little bit bigger one. These are not really big, which is awesome because number one, they're good for doing little fun projects like this, and they'd be great size for jewelry. So just something to think about that. So, and then I'm using this one, which is from the Kaleidoscope cutter set, and there's 4 in this set, and I'm just going to use this one. I have some Pan Pastels, and these are pastels in a pan. And I'm going to be using copper, magenta, and I have a few other colors that I'll share with you as we go. And then I have this cookie cutter, which, I don't know, I picked it up at like TJ Maxx or something like that. I'm not in love with it. I wouldn't recommend running out and buying it because it's squishy. It doesn't cut very good. I don't know that you can tell the difference between these 2 plastics, but this one's squishy and this one is a hard plastic. The hard plastic cuts better than a squishy plastic. So I don't love this cutter here. Like I said, I think I just picked it up at TJ Maxx. It came in a graduated set. If you were going to get something like this, get it in metal, or if you can find it in a hard plastic, which I don't know that you can. So metal's better when it comes to something like this. So that I used obviously for this base, and I'll show you the steps, or most of the steps as we go here. So I've used a few different colors of clay. There's a sunshine color. I have an orange color. I have blush, and I'm using the Primo brand. And then I have a pearl. But you can use any color you want, and I actually ended up mixing colors because I don't like to work with just like this bright yellow or just a plain white because I can't keep them clean. It's just my nature. I don't know. I just can't keep it clean. So I feel like when I add other colors to it, you know, I don't have to worry about it looking so clean because I end up with a piece of cat ear or another piece of clay. So it's just something to think about. So all I did was I took some of the orange, took some of the yellow, and kept running it through my pasta machine. This is not a Skinner blend. You could certainly do a Skinner blend, but I didn't have the patience for it. I just wanted to get the colors together and just mush them together and kept running it through the pasta machine, which in essence is kind of like doing a Skinner blend, but it was kind of a half kind of Skinner blend. So that's that, and I use this cookie cutter for this. So let me move a few things out of the way and we'll get started on the steps, and I'll show you how to correct mistakes and whatnot. So I have this already cut out. I've pre-cut it out with this cookie cutter after rolling it flat on the number 3, which is the 3rd thickest setting on my pasta machine. You can do whatever thickness you want, and it all depends on your particular project, you know, however thick you want it. So all I did was place this on top. I used my rod to roll over it. Oops, and you don't want to do it as much as I just did because I goofed it up right there on the edge. So you just want to gently do it. We may have a few problems today because it's supposed to be in the high 80s, so the clay is super soft, but you'll get the gist. Okay, so I also have this red pastel, Pan Pastel, which is called Permanent Red. And I have a little sponge, which they also sell, but you can use anything you want to apply it. And so I'm just rubbing a little over. I wasn't looking for like a saturated color, more of like a, you know, just a light color. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but I'm not looking for just bright red like that. I kind of wanted more of a blended, that's probably the word that I'm looking for. More of a blended look is what I was going for. So you would just go until you're happy. You can mix colors, anything you want. And once you have that, you can just peel off your punchinella. And this punchinella is an egg-shaped punchinella, and it'll be part of this kit that we're putting together here. But you can also, it does come with others as well in the punchinella combo packs. So there you have that. Simple, simple, simple. And that becomes the base right here. Now, this is just a dollar store thing to put your pens and stuff in. That's really what it is. And I had it laying around on my desk, and I said, that's kind of cool. That would look really good and make it look like a finial. So that's why I'm using this. You certainly don't need it. You can put it on top of a box. Anything you want, that any kind of project you want to make. But I thought, well, that would be a really cute like little thing to put in the middle of a table. And you could completely cover this with clay. So you don't have to stop here because this is metal. So it can go in the oven. It can be covered and with no problem. Okay, so here we have that. And I went ahead and I used this cutter from the kaleidoscope set, and I cut out a piece. And I did this on the second thickest setting of my pasta machine. And the reason why I did it thicker is because in order to get all these imprints into it, which I wanted, you have to do the clay a little thicker. Because if you go too thin, I don't know if you can see the lip, like the depth here, it's not going to work. You're not going to pick up the design because it's a deeper depth. So you have to go a little thicker, and what I did was the number 2 on my pasta machine. And I've pre-painted this so you don't have to sit here and watch me, but I'll do a couple. I left a couple just in case so you could see them. And I just use a regular paintbrush, and I'm painting these little, I would call petal-y looking things. And so there I have that. And so that's done. That's as simple as it is. So then I took that and I placed that in the middle of my piece here. Now these are raw clay, so they're going to stick together. You don't need anything to get them to stick together. They will stick together on their own. But you do want to make sure that there isn't air pockets in there. So that's something you just want to look for. And if there is, then you would want to get rid of them. So on this again, I then wanted to create like something like I said, a finial look. So I added just another piece of clay and a round ball, flattened it, and then I used the middle part of this and just kind of smushed it in there. So it's just, I'm just picking up the design in the middle, and you really don't see much of it, so you don't have to worry too hard about it. But in case I did, I wanted something pretty, and then I just placed that in the middle there. And that raises up my egg shape. Okay? So you could decorate this any way you want, and but like I said, you're not going to see most of it because the egg is going to sit right on top like that. So let me set this aside here, and let's talk a little bit about the egg. Now this is paper mache, and there's different ways you can cover paper mache. It really is a matter of your taste and what you think works better for your climate that you're in. You know, some people use a glue called Sobo, and this is the Sobo glue. It's just a white glue, but it tends to make polymer clay grab on to something like paper mache better. So you can use it, but you don't need to use it. So that's the thing. You can if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's totally up to you. I mean, this makes a permanent bond. I did not use the Sobo glue on this, and it's permanent on there. But it's really a matter of your personal taste and what you think. And you can try you can try both ways and see what you like better. So, okay, so this is the paper mache egg. Now, all I did was cover it with the clay, and then I embellished it. But as you can see here on the bunny, there is a air pocket. Now also around the base, an air pocket formed right here. So I didn't do very good with this one. And when it formed, I don't know if you can see this, but it pushed up one of my little oval shapes there. So then it created an issue for me. So anyways, to correct that, you need a very sharp razor blade, and I prefer just a single edge razor blade, one of these small ones, because when you're trying to do it with one of your big blades, it makes it more cumbersome. So what I do is I come in here, and it's going to be a little awkward for me, and I shave it as close as I can to being flush. Okay? And you want to make sure you take your time with this because you don't want to mess up the rest. Now I basically just cut out the air pocket there. Let's see. So that's the extra piece that the air pushed out. So that's why we talk a lot of times about how you don't want to trap air pockets, because it can, you know, compromise your project and not make it look as good. So that's what happens when you got an air pocket. So now I've got this hole there, and you know, there obviously is air down here as well, so let's take care of that. And this one I wasn't as concerned about because it's down here and I can cover it. But, you know, when it pushed up on that one piece, I was like, oh, bummer. Now there's not much I can do. I have to repair it. No, you can't hide it, is what I'm saying. So, let me take this off. I'm going to probably have to make a whole new one for that. And so this is just, I'm just showing you how if you end up with air pockets that you can fix them. And then I have another one over here. The boy, like I said, I didn't do so good with this project here. As far as air pockets go. You know, I was just wanting it to get it done and wasn't paying as close attention as I should. So, like I said, I'm just shaving it away as best as I can. And you can see there's air down in there. And if I go to bake this again, it may pop back up, but I'm going to do my best to fill that hole and hope for the best, you know. I think it went around into this one as well, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. So like I said, the idea is to avoid these so you don't have to do any repairs. To avoid the air pockets, it'll make your life easier. But, you know, I've been doing polymer clay for 25 years, and guess what? I get air pockets here and there too. And, you know, it's just part of it, you know. I try to make sure that the air pockets aren't there when I started. I mean, before I bake it, but they happen. So anyways, there you go. So I've shaved it away, and then what you need to do is you need to get your clay completely conditioned. Like it has to be really super mushy. I mean, almost like pasty. So you want to condition it a lot because you're going to be shoving it, for lack of a better word, you're going to be shoving it down into that hole to try to fill up and block any kind of air from getting in there again. So once you feel, and you don't need a lot, just enough that you can fill those holes. So this feels really mushy, and it, like I said, it happens to be a mushy day today. I mean, a hot day today, so the clay is going to mush anyways. And then I would just continue to push it in there and try to fill up that hole as best as I can. And I'll be adding these back on, you know, and I'll show you how I do those too. And so you want to use your finger, and you want to spread it with your finger, but you want to get off any extra too, because you're not looking to get another air pocket. And I just use my finger to blend it in so then you won't even see it. That's how I do it. Now you can use tools. There's all kinds of tools and that you can use that might help you to do this. You know, if you have like a little, I don't have one handy right now, but something maybe like this that'll help you get in there. Okay, so if you need some help with some tools, these are great tools to do this. Actually, this works really well. And so you do want to smooth it out as best as you can so that it looks like it blends back in there. And there you have it. You wouldn't know otherwise, especially when I go ahead and put these back on there. You wouldn't know that it even had it. So do your best. Hopefully you won't run into air pockets like I did, but if it happens, now you know how to fix them. Like I said, you would just continue on here as well and do it the same way. Get this really conditioned, really good, and then push it in to fill up that hole, and then wipe away the extra. Now on this piece here, on the egg, I did use powdered pigments on there, so I'd have to go back over and then put powdered pigments where I added this new bit of clay so it doesn't look like a big piece of clay sticking out. So you know what I'm saying? Like right here, there's powder pigment, not powder pigments, Pan Pastels all over to give it some coloration and texture. I'd need to put it on that piece of clay that I just filled in, as well as these down here, so it looks like it's part of the design, rather than this single piece of clay sticking out. And so here I got a little up here. I can just use my blade to get it away. Alright, so there you have it. That's how you fix it. And like I said, you would just take a little time and you'd add whatever you need to on there. So that's that. So let me show you how I created these little pieces here. I used this oval cutter. Actually, it comes in multiple sizes. They're graduated, but I used this size here. And then you just roll out a flat sheet. Now this can be thin. I think I did this on number 4 on my pasta machine. And you just press them out, and then you have a beautiful oval shape. Simple, simple, simple. If you need to clean up the edges, you can do that real easy. And then you just add your pieces. I'll do it over here where I've already fixed it. And I would come back. Now, since this has already been baked, I could use a little liquid clay to make sure that it adheres, but since I ended up putting more clay on there, it'll attach itself to that clay, so I don't have to really worry about it. So there I have that. So then you just go all the way around like I did here. And you want to do this on the egg before you place it on the base, because if you put it on the base, it makes it a little tricky. You can do it that way, but it's easier to do it before you put the egg on the base. All right, so covering the egg. Let's talk a little bit about that. You want to get your clay conditioned well, and you can go as thick or as thin as you want. That's completely up to you. I went thinner, and I ended up with air pockets, and I don't know for sure that it was because I went thinner. You just never know. But you can go any thickness you want. I personally like the look of it thinner rather than this big bulky piece. I wasn't going for that. So I think that my choice would be a number 2 or a number 3 on my pasta machine as far as thickness goes. And I think I prefer the 3 because the 2 is a little thick. So let me get a 3 here. Okay, so I've got this. Now, let me just make sure that it's going to go all the way around, and it looks like it will. So, there are many ways you can do this as well. It's entirely up to you. I just like to go for it and just kind of roll it on there. Now that I think about it, it might be better to leave the bottom without any clay on it. That way you can really make sure that you don't get any air pockets. Now that I'm thinking about it, as I'm doing this again, I might not cover the bottom all the way. So anyways, I start to roll it up, and you can cut yourself a straight edge if you want, because a lot of times it's easier to work when you have a straight edge, for me anyways. And basically, I'm just going to try to roll it, not get any air pockets in there, and roll it all the way around. Okay, so I definitely have enough clay. Let me cut any extras away. And when you have that straight line, it makes it easy for you to, match it up better. So there I have that. Okay, now I'm going to leave, like I said, this bottom open, because I think by doing that, it's going to really help with air pockets. I'll be able to get them out better. But I'm going to go ahead and squeeze it on there so I have like an open, like a space like that. Okay? Now, when you're piecing it like this, you don't want to just cram all this over. It's going to be big and bulky. You don't want that. So what you want to do is you want to start cutting pieces of the clay away. All right? And then kind of folding it so that the clay just moves over where it needs to go. See, like this is all extra here. I don't need all this clay. So I'll cut that off and start pulling it over so it matches up. And I'm not overlapping the clay onto each other and creating this big bulky you know, egg. So I don't want that. So I'm cutting clay away to be able to avoid a big bulky thing, but I'm also smoothing as I go here, you know. Okay, we'll come back and we'll finish smoothing it after, but you just want to be able to get it on there nicely. And if you feel any air pockets, go ahead at this point and get rid of them. You don't want your air pockets. You don't want to have that trouble that I had after. So don't worry too much about getting it perfectly straight, perfectly smooth at this point. Right now we're just trying to cut off all this extra clay so that it lays nicely without being this big bulky piece. So I think that's about it. Now, by having, I think, this open space on the bottom, I think it's going to allow me to push out more of my air pockets towards the top at this point. So I'm going to use my rod to kind of go over it to push out any air pockets. This is before I completely close it up. And you can use your hands and you can roll it in your hands to get it smooth. And once you have it smooth, you can see better if there's any air pockets or anything that needs to be fixed. And this looks pretty good. And like I said, trial and error. You know, every time it's going to be different. If something happens that you're not happy with, find another way to do it. That's the way I look at it. So let me just trim off this little bit here because that's going to make it bulky there, which I don't want. And this is overlapping, so let me get rid of that. Boy, I got a lot of scrap clay here. Alright, so that's about it. And I see there's an air pocket. That stinker needs to go. Let me get rid of him. And since I haven't fully done, you know, pushed it over there, I can get rid of him like that. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shave off that clay. Those air pockets, they're like, I don't know, what's that commercial? Where they have like all these, like that horrible mucus commercial, which I can't stand to watch, with those little mucusy guys that are on there that want to get in your nose and stuff. It's horrible. So this is my comparison and my analogy. It's like those guys. You want to get rid of those air pockets. They are not good for anything. So anyways, I'm going to use my hands once again to smooth it out. And I like the texture of my fingerprints and the things that are, you know, a part of my hand. If you don't like the texture, go ahead and texture it with something else. But I think that looks pretty darn good here. I don't see, let me push on it and see if I see any air pockets. It's not, see, and if there is any air pockets, I can also try to work them out the bottom now, because I've left that spot right there where they can get out without me having to cut it. So that's perfect, I think. I think that's the way to do it. Don't try to cover the whole thing on the bottom. Leave it like that. I learned from my mistake, and now you can learn from my mistakes as well. So there you have that. Okay, so now we want our egg to go on like that. So that, I think that's going to be perfect. But let's decorate it a little. And that's where this pearl color came in. Actually, I don't need this right now because we're going to just make these. So I'm using the pearl color, which I really like this pearl color because you can pearlize any color. Let me move this egg aside rather. And that's the cool thing about it. It's a white pearl, so obviously you have that white color, you know, which bunnies can be white, but certainly can do brown, any color you want. That's completely up to you. But I saw this color and I'm like, that pearl would be really cute on a bunny, and I could add some like pink accents. So I'm going to run this through on the third thickest setting on my pasta machine to get my bunny and my birds. And then you would just simply take your cutters, and I'm using the larger, I use the larger of the two, and give it a push down. Oh, I think it moved that one, but I think it worked anyways. And then there you have. How cute are those? I mean, so simple and so cute. I love these cutters. They are just adorable. And like I said, there comes 2 in a set. So you can do some smaller ones, you can do some larger, whatever you want. And so at this point then you would add your little decorations anywhere you where you see fit. Okay, and you would continue to put them around like I did here. I just used 2 of each. Okay, so I'm not going to do too much with that because I want to show you all the other steps here. And then at this point, you know that this is going to go on here. So it's going to be about right here. So I'm going to start these right about here. And these are my little ovals that I created, and I just place them side by side. You can go exactly next to each other. You can put it a little further away. It's entirely up to you what look you're going for and what you want. I didn't butt them up against each other. I kind of just did it like that. And so you would continue to go all the way around. Now once you go all the way around and you have all set, you want to put your egg right onto the base. And you would do that and you would just push it down until it's exactly the way you want it. Okay? So that's that. And then I did the same thing around the top. I made more of those oval pieces. And I just started at the top here. I just picked a spot and cut out my ovals. And just went around like so. All the way around because I'm creating a flower here. Can't really see what I'm doing, but you get the gist. Let's see, I'll pick it up. Okay, and I think it took like 7. So that's 4, 5. Ooh, my egg stands on its own. The egg stands alone. Okay, so that's 5, 6, and 7. And there I have it. If I need to move anything, because I was going for that 7, like I did the last time, I can just move on aside and read. Oop, come back here. And there you go. So this guy needs to come out a little more. And there you have it. And then I just took a little piece of my extra clay and rolled it into a ball. And I put that in as my center of my flower, like so. How cute is that? Simple, simple. And then I used the ball tool. And, you know, there's plastic ones, there's metal ones, whichever you have. And just pushed it in to give these a little bit more texture. Just a simple push. And you're doing 2 things here. You're pushing it to give it texture, but you're also now pushing it more so that it adheres to the other clay underneath it. Genius, I tell you. Anyways, there's that. And then I just took a little more of this clay, and then I did a snake. I just rolled it into a snake. Like so. First into a ball, and then into a snake. And then I just roll it on my work surface until I get it to the size snake I want. And I went pretty small with this one. I didn't want a big old snake. I wanted a little skinny snake for this one. Okay, and then, you know, just get yourself an edge. And then you just want to roll it up like a jelly roll kind of look. And come back here. Speaking of snakes, I saw a poisonous snake up by the mailbox the other day. That is not fun. When it warms up around here, they like to come out and hang out in the sun. So, got to be careful, especially when I'm wearing my flip-flops. And so that's it. You just make your little swirl, and you can put it on the top. You can put a rhinestone in there. That's not the best swirl, but you get the idea. And then this goes on here. And there you have it. And that's how you build it. So then at this point, I can then decorate it with powdered pigments, and that's all I did. I just used my not powder. I keep calling powdered pigments. Well, they are powdered pigments, but they're Pan Pastels is the brand. And actually, I took my knitting needle on my bunny ears, like so, and I came in and I gave them a little indent. So doesn't that make the bunny, that simple little gesture of putting an indent in there really makes the bunny look cute. And so then I came back with my Pan Pastels, and I'm trying to get very little on my brush. So I'm just going to like dip it and probably blow it off a little because I'm not looking for like a saturated color. I'm looking for like a highlight. And then I went in there in the ears to give it a little pink cuteness. And I came back around the edges. If you need more, pick up a little more with your brush, but you're not looking to oversaturate. You're just kind of looking to impart a little color on it. You know, make it cute. And so that's that. And then on the bird, I used this copper color. I just painted the whole thing with that. And you could certainly give it eyeballs. You can give it whiskers for the bunny. Whatever you want. The sky is the limit. But now you have an idea how you can take all these really fun cookie cutters and things and make something super cute out of it. You know, just be careful. Like I said, with the air pockets, that's going to be your worst enemy is air pockets for this project. Because it is paper mache. It's not solid clay. Now, okay, that brings me to that. You could totally make the egg out of solid clay if you wanted to. If you had a bunch of scrap laying around, it's going to make the project heavier, obviously, because the clay is going to weigh more than paper mache, but you could totally make it out of solid clay. So if you've got a lot of scrap laying around, this would be a great project to use it up. You don't have to worry about finding these paper mache eggs. We will have them in the kits, but if you don't have them or you don't want to, you can certainly do it out of solid polymer clay. So there you have it. It's simple, easy, inexpensive to do, and you can make some really cute things and fun ways to decorate for the holidays. So if you haven't joined Polymer Clay Adventure yet, that is our virtual retreat. It's still ongoing. We have Christy Friesen's class coming out this Friday. We've got several other classes that we've released already, and we have tons more coming. 2 new classes every single month, and you can join at polymerclayadventure.com. You can find all these products in our shop at polymerclaytv.com. And I'd love to see what you make using this technique. And you can come over to craftylink.ning.com and upload photos and share them with us. So thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.